Have you noticed that older people smell different? They smell of old age. And sometimes even when you come to a house or an apartment where older people live, you can sense that smell in the air. You can sense it in the things that these people wear. I don't know if you've ever come across something like this, if you've noticed or picked up on that smell, maybe with your loved ones or your grandparents. And now the question is, do we sometimes have that kind of smell too? It's kind of unpleasant, a bit, well, and embarrassing. But it turns out, first of all, you can get rid of it because it's not about washing. Even taking a shower twice a day won't help here because it has nothing to do with a lack of hygiene. This problem goes much deeper. It's inside. And it also points to certain health problems. So, my dears, if you want to find out where this old age smell comes from, how you can get rid of it, and what problems it might indicate, then watch this video until the end. Japanese scientists conducted a study in 2001. They took volunteers aged from 25 to 75, and they had these volunteers wear cotton shirts to sleep at night, which absorb all the skin secretions that build up while we sleep. Later, they examined the shirts and the secretions on them, which were broken down by special devices into individual molecules to analyze their composition. And what did they find out? In people over the age of 40, compounds appear on the skin that, for example, are not present at all in young people. This compound was named two-nonenal, and it smells like old books that have been lying somewhere for a very long time in some closed cabinets, maybe even in the attic, or like old rancid oil. It's the smell of old age, and that's exactly the kind of scent we associate with old age. And imagine the older a person gets, the more of this compound is produced on their skin. And for example, the peak of production is between the ages of 60 and 70. And it's a very noticeable smell, so why don't cleaning products like soap or showering help with it? Because this compound is soluble in fats, and neither water nor soap will simply wash it away. They can wash away what's on the surface, but it gets produced again shortly after. And it's produced in our sebaceous glands. It turns out that an excess of omega-7 unsaturated fatty acids starts to accumulate there. And unfortunately, in larger amounts, they oxidize very strongly when there are not enough antioxidant compounds on the skin. And as it turned out, this process is actually twofold. On one hand, these fats accumulate in the glands, and on the other hand, there are no ingredients that would, so to speak, preserve them. They will make it so that they don't oxidize so quickly. When there aren't enough antioxidants, the free radicals that form on the skin enter into certain reactions, and two-nonenal is produced. And now, my dears, take a look. On one hand, you could say that having a smell as you age isn't such a big deal, but that's not entirely true. If it were just a smell, it turns out that this compound reacts with the proteins found on the skin and destroys the epidermis. It causes the epidermal cells to die off more quickly. The skin becomes very dry, almost like parchment. It's very thin. And on top of that, it regenerates much more poorly. And there's another aspect which is also very unpleasant, and that's that this compound can penetrate through the skin into the bloodstream. There, it also binds with albumin proteins, which act as carriers for various minerals in our body, in our blood, and for our hormones. And that means that if hormones aren't transported to the right places as quickly as they should be, and all the nutrients aren't distributed very well to every cell, then the functioning of our entire body becomes impaired. And you see, at first, scientists had this theory that maybe older people simply have different bacteria on their skin. Because it's obvious that when bacteria on the skin break down sweat, that's when the unpleasant smell appears. And there was this theory that maybe young people have one set of bacteria on their skin, and as you age, the skin microbiome simply changes. But it turns out that a completely new compound is formed here, and it's one that can even damage our body. And now the most important thing, what should we do? Now, step by step, we'll talk about it, because you can use a certain strategy and use some substances externally, but of course also take them internally to neutralize the unpleasant odor. And what's most important is to completely eliminate the production and harmful effects of this substance so it doesn't damage our body. Because if oxidative processes occur inside the body, then all these chronic diseases develop. And problems with blood vessels and problems with inflammation, with the heart, with the joints, and so on. And again, yes, when Japanese scientists discovered this compound, they also started looking for ways to deal with it. And of course, nature comes to the rescue. There is a natural compound. These are tannins, which are extracted from Japanese persimmon. In this fruit, sometimes when it is unripe, we can sense that it is a bit astringent. And it is the tannins that are responsible for that. And during the research, it turned out that these tannins inhibit the production of two-nonenal by as much as 97%. That's a lot. In fact, by using it externally, you can really protect your skin and truly take care to make your body smell nice. We can also find this substance in various cosmetic products in Poland, because in Japan, this is generally a standard skincare routine for people over 50. These tannins are found in various cleansing products, in soaps, in lotions, in different shower gels. And you, darling, can also find it. Most often it will be called persimmon extract. And I saw the same kinds of products online and even in drugstores. If someone needs it, by all means use it. I think that even people over 50 in general, without waiting for this smell to appear, knowing that this is the process. And unfortunately, with age, this starts to be produced, so they can buy such a product for skincare. The only thing is, you always have to pay attention to the ingredients as well. Because it's not just about that one ingredient, those tannins. It's best if the ingredients are natural. Because if it's full of chemicals, it defeats the purpose. Since chemical agents will actually cause oxidative processes, they will even neutralize the effects of those tannins. So let's pay attention to that. But of course, besides these external products, we also need to make sure to support the body from the inside and provide those antioxidants. And here we can focus on what we provide through our diet, because that's the simplest way. Of course, you can use various supplements, but anthocyanins work well in the diet. These are plant compounds that we can find, for example, in red beet, in red cabbage, in all dark-colored fruits and berries. For example, that would be black mulberry, blackcurrant, blackberries. And the Japanese even conducted one too. An experiment, such research, where blackcurrant powder, simply dried and powdered currant, was given to people for 2 to 4 weeks to see what the effects would be. And the effects were amazing too when it came to raising the level of antioxidants in the body. So we should regularly eat such dark vegetables, fruits, and berries. Another plant compound is the catechins found in green tea. Well, green tea is famous for being a very strong antioxidant, and you can also look for green tea extracts in cosmetics. But above all, you should drink it, 1 or 2 cups a day. The only thing you need to remember is that for green tea to release those catechins into the water, it shouldn't be brewed with boiling water, because unfortunately, boiling water will destroy all those active substances. You should brew the tea at a temperature of about 70 to 80 degrees. What else can help us? One of the most important antioxidants, which is fat-soluble because that's what matters for our sebaceous glands, is for this antioxidant to work at the skin level in those sebaceous glands. And that antioxidant is vitamin E. We can find it in vegetable oils, but only in those that are freshly cold pressed, definitely not in refined ones. Additionally, avocado and hazelnuts can be used, but also keep omega-3 in mind. On one hand, we can get it by eating fish, or we can use flaxseed. But of course, when it comes to omega-3, good supplementation is definitely recommended. And if you're looking for a good omega-3 supplement, depending on your needs, whether it's in capsules, and for example, you want to give your body some extra energy, you can combine it with coenzyme Q10 and such ready-made omega-3. And coenzyme Q10 capsules are available on the market, or maybe you prefer omega in liquid form. There's also a very good proven product, for example, one that I've personally tested. And if you don't have your own trusted option, check out the links I've included for you in the description below this video. However, apart from our diet, supplementation, and using various cosmetic products, what clothes we wear is also extremely important. It turns out that all clothes, which we already know aren't healthy, like those made of polyester, absorb this compound as well. You can simply, they just don't release it. It doesn't wash out very well. The clothes just soak up this smell, and even after washing, it might seem like they're clean. All it takes is for someone to put it on, the warmth of the body, and right away that smell becomes noticeable. That's why it's recommended to wear linen, cotton, those natural clothes that breathe and that when washed actually release those compounds, those molecules, and then after washing, those clothes will really be nice, clean, and pleasant again. So dear ones, take a look at these few tips and remember that an unpleasant age-related smell isn't just about a certain substance starting to be produced in the skin with age. It's a signal that you need to take care of your body because suddenly it's lacking antioxidants. And if it's said that between the ages of 60 and 70, in the skin this compound starts to be produced more, then honestly, I think it happens much earlier. You should even start taking antioxidants as a preventive measure. And also pay attention to clothing and possibly to the cosmetics I mentioned. I hope this was interesting and useful for you. Thank you so much for being with me. Thank you for your attention and see you in the next videos. Remember to give this video a thumbs up and share it with your friends. This has been Natalia Samarek.